New year, true you, strengths example. Here we go. I'm going to give you guys a hypothetical example here, situation where maybe a 15-year-old reached out and was like, true you, what does that mean? I'm 15, I have no idea, maybe struggling a little bit with where they fit. So we're going to go through what the example of going through their strengths would look like for them and helping them understand what true you looks like. So in their top 10 of the 34 traits that are measured and ranked, the top 10 show that this person has 5 influencing strengths, 2 relationship building, 2 strategic thinking, and 1 executing. So what does that mean? They are all about being listened to and being able to help other people move forward. They don't really need to connect with these people on a deep level. They don't necessarily dive into their own head and have to come up with like all kinds of plans for it. And implement it or not, that's up to the other person, right? They're just mostly interested in how can I do something that's going to excite them and try to get them wanting to jump on board and move forward, and they want to be a part of it with them. So what that looks like is their number 1 now is actually a strategic thinking strength. So they're all about coming up with a grand idea. They like to think broad and like daydream and come up with all kinds of stuff. They take all of that information and go into their number 2, which is strategic. They're going to come up with a plan then. So even though they only have 2 strategic thinking strengths in their top 10, their second one is strategic. So they do like to see things in an alternative way with these ideas that they've come up with and kind of form their own path in doing things. They don't really like to conform too much. And yep, I just noticed that consistency is number 30. So they're all about coming up with ideas of doing things their way. So as a 15-year-old, I can see where maybe this would cause some struggle in the school setting and probably even at home. Then they go into restorative. They're all about the problem. They want to dig in, understand, peel it back. They are looking for solutions. That is the goal, but sometimes they can get hung up on the problems and come across as a bit negative, and maybe even, if you're around them, you kind of feel like, oh my gosh, like they're bringing me down all the time. But their ideas that they're coming up with are super exciting for them, and they're going to want to see a way through it. So they will look for those solutions. Adaptability is next. They can go with the flow. So even though they have their own idea, and even though they've come up with their own path of doing it, with their own solutions, they can be flexible and go with the flow of not having to be so rigid on following things, which again shows where maybe they might have a little struggle with the traditional school setting because they might want to see their day being a little bit more fluid depending on what they're feeling in the moment and what's going on in their life that day, not necessarily worried about like, I'm 15, why do I need to worry about what's going to happen? 17 is where futuristic falls for them. So they're not all about like, I have to plan for my future and everything has to go for that. They're more like, what's today mean for me? What does this look like? Then number 5 is competition. They're going to take all this information, and the way that they're going to be motivated, and as a teacher and as a parent to keep this in mind, the way to motivate this 15-year-old is to get a competition going. Have something for them to be able to beat and let them feel like they're going to win if they accomplish something or do something. Next will come command. They're not afraid to take charge, which as a 15-year-old can be difficult to deal with, but think about these strengths once they're adults, because we are who we are on the inside. And even though life changes and different situations come up for us, we ultimately handle them the same way throughout the stages of our life. So you're going to be happy when they're an adult that they can take charge of situations so that they can win by implementing their ideas and their plans and their solutions. I mean, if you think about these qualities as an adult running a business, you're going to be like, yeah, successful. But as a 15-year-old, they're not easy to follow your plan of what you want them to do. It has to be theirs. So you kind of have to wiggle your way into understanding what they really want and where they're coming from, and mesh together how to honor that, but yet show them that they also need to conform to fit in, so they don't cause a lot of trouble for themselves too. After command is communication. So not only will they take charge, they're going to let everybody know about it. Again, these are these strong influencing strengths: competition, command, communication. Next is activator. All of those of influencing strengths right in a row there. So they're going to figure out how they can win. They're going to take charge to make sure that that's going to happen. They're going to communicate what their ideas and their plans and their strategy and their solutions are for this. Then you got it. Take action. They're going to go. They will have thought it out to a certain extent, but they also are ready to just fire up quickly. So they're going to learn from doing. They're going to make mistakes, parents and teachers, but they will learn from those and adjust as they go along. That's that adapter in them too. Next is relator. They're going to feel most comfortable with their group of people that they connect with. So they may not have the large group of friends. They may not want everybody involved in this plan. They need to know that they feel comfortable with you. They can trust you, and you guys are a team. And then self-assurance. They know they got this. They're not going to listen to you. They've got the plan. They've got the answers. They've got the ideas and the strategy, and they're going to win. So again, yep, can be difficult to deal with as a parent or a teacher for a 15-year-old, but these are amazing strengths in going forward.